Howdy, swamp ass havers. Welcome back to Miku's Crackhouse. This is episode 118. I'm your host, as always, Sam King, but joining me is my best friend and co-host, the motherfucker laughing, Myles J.
You can't just hit me with swamp ass havers.
God, dude, man, let me just say, is there anything more, like, miserable but also pleasant than having swamp ass?
Did you say pleasant?
Well, you know, just being drowned in your own sweat, you know, is a certain type of feeling that
if you're talking about, here's the thing. Here's how I see it. Okay, swamp ass is the good with the bad, or is the bad with the good? Sorry, it's the bad with the good, because after you finish working out and you just feel, oh man, like you just feel that post-workout glow. You're glistening. You're working hard. You're out in the world. Like, it is good to sweat. It is not good to have swamp ass, but you gotta take the bad with the good.
Definitely.
I think that's what you're saying.
Because I will say there are some times when it's a hot summer, smoky summer night and it's like 1:30 in the morning and you're playing Infamous on your PS3.
I don't know what you're gonna say, but it scares me.
It's just hot as fuck and you're just dying of fucking sweat. And you're just like, but Infamous though. Like, but
you have to admit to the idea that having swamp ass is like 4chan comfy vibes.
It's not.
I might
comfy.
kill you.
It's not comfy. It's not comfy. But I'm just saying is that it's like, it's not comfortable, but it's also like not particularly uncomfortable. It's particularly uncomfortable when you like get up. You know, when you get, because that's when you know for sure. But when you're just chilling, you're just gaming, you know, in your warm ass, but possibly leather seat, just, you know, swamping up a fucking storm. But anyways,
we're 2 minutes into the episode already.
Myles,
2 minutes have gone by for the audience.
You went to a wedding a couple weeks ago when the people are listening to this, and I wanted to hear about it.
You know what, Sam? I did go to a wedding. I went to a wedding. I was a literal no one at this wedding. It was one of those situations where my best friend, one of my best friends from college, was getting married, but I didn't live anywhere near anyone, and I am not a vagina man. I don't have one of those, so I couldn't be part of the bridal party.
Wait, so this is one of your female friends who was getting married?
This is one of my
I understand.
Women friends. Cool. I used to have those before I dedicated my life to misogyny for internet clout. So
before I dedicated my life to sexism and racism.
Yeah, for internet clout, by the way. Not for political
not for anything bad.
Yeah, not for anything bad. Just to be funny. Funny on the internet. I'm a racist and a misogynist, but not for bad reasons. It's just for clout.
What do you think I am? Evil?
I see good things about Hitler also. Did you ever see that clip of the guy with like the balaclava over his face? Like completely covering his face, and oh my god, I think he's on an interview with like Kanye or something like that, or like Andrew Tate, like you know, just these like kind of controversial whatever people. And he just goes, yeah, I see good things about Hitler also. And I've only seen the clip out of context. I've never seen what the person before him happened to say. Probably the one thing that people point out to Adolf Hitler is he raised the economy and he made anti-smoking laws.
What you mean? By raising, I mean, you mean single-handedly brought the United States out of depression because we had a war to get involed in?
The German economy. The German economy.
Okay,
which
I
they
guess
did the
that
exact
also
same shit as us. They went to war.
Wait a minute, didn't he just inflate the economy so fucking bad that a wheelbarrow worth of money, wheelbarrow was worth more?
As far as I had heard, that was World War I. That was where the current franc was. And I believe World War II actually was a prosperous era for Germany financially. I don't know if it was truly prosperous or if it was like due to a bunch of bullshit. But, you know, the economy's stupid. It's not real. Anyways, so I went to a wedding, and it was truly one of the moments where I realized that my past life is over. Because as nice as it was to see all my old friends, I wasn't sitting at the same table as all my old friends. They were at table 1. I was at table 6.
Oh, wow, dude. You were set like 5 tiers below them, bro.
Yeah, and dude, I sat next to her childhood friend, who she hadn't seen in like 8 years, and one of her coworkers, and I fraternized with the grandparents of the groom. Or no, the grandparents of the father of the groom. And one of them talked so low, I couldn't hear him.
Oh, no.
So I just, Sam, I have never acted better in my entire life, where I was leaning in and I was just nodding along, and anytime he would say something and it sound like, so the thing is, he had Parkinson's, so like he was, you know, shaking, and I wasn't paying attention to it. I did clock it, but I didn't say anything, of course. But like, he had Parkinson's, so like he couldn't emote with his hands, and he was like completely monotone. So I just had to go off of like the few scant words I was able to find, and every now and then, Sam, I fucking took a swing at a fastball, because he would say something and I would just be like, oh man, that sounds tough. Like, you know, or just like, wow, that's a lot. You know, like, it's just some, like, okay, he mentioned living on a farm with a couple animals. Oh wow, that's a lot of animals. Like, and that was the best I could do, right? For this elderly gentleman, and I listened the best I fucking could.
Yeah, this reminds me of at the I'm no longer a pizza delivery driver, by the way, for people who don't know. I left that gig, that era. My Sam Porter Bridges era is over. Please send your goodbyes and put your rip bozos in the comments now. And there were a bunch of people I worked with. One of them was one of the drivers who I was pretty like close with, and we were good buddies or whatever, and we talk a bit, and I could only ever understand a third of what came out of his mouth. Every third word, it was like Boomhauer. I'm not even kidding. It was like talking to Boomhauer from fucking King of the Hill, where like he wouldn't speak like Boomhauer, but he would speak with Boomhauer's accent, like that deep southern like
where it's so quiet, deep-throated, like,
yeah, when it's just like, sometimes he would say shit and I'd be like, fuck man, I didn't really catch a lick of that.
So you'll just be like,
but you can't ask it.
Yeah.
But similar to your situations with this older gentleman you were speaking to, where like, if you asked them to repeat it, you wouldn't understand it any better if you asked them to repeat it. So you just gotta take a chance, like,
you gotta roll them bones, yeah. and just hope that your response is appropriate. Sam, the wedding was good. It went off very well. I danced a lot, but it was extremely awkward because I went without a date. And truly, Sam, there is nothing that I have no interest in a relationship right now. I'm married to the grind. Whatever grind I have, I'm married to that.
Ding, 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 ding. He was making the Chad face for the audio listeners.
Yeah, for the audio listeners. Sorry, I forget we have those now. Anyways, yeah, like, going to a wedding without a partner is the most uncomfortable thing in the world, especially when it's your friend group and there's not a single person in the friend group that's not you, because they got to dance with their partner. So you're just dancing like a nerd.
Dancing with myself.
And it sucks, and it's embarrassing, and it's terrible. I'm pretty sure the bride's dad hates me now.
Oh.
I don't know why. I said something. I made a joke. I complimented his speech, where I said, when you were making your speech, I was like, yep, that's her father. That's her father. Like, and I was trying to say, like, you guys are, apple's not far from the tree, because he's
the
really
apple
funny.
did, yeah.
And he just, like, patted me on the back. He was like, nice seeing you again, Myles. And I walked away, and I was like, I think he hates me now. And I just didn't let it bother me. He put his discarded clothes next to me on the bus, and then moved to the front of the bus. And that was one of those moments where I was like, I did something, apparently.
I clearly wronged this man.
Yeah, and I literally, like, when I was on the plane going back home, I was like, well, I guess they're not my friends anymore. Like, just one of these, like, nothing went wrong. Nothing bad or different happened. I just realized that, like, I had changed too much to, like, feel at the same rhythm with them.
Oh.
And they were clearly, like, way closer now than I could be, because they all, like, live near each other, and I haven't seen them in 5 or 6 years. And so it was just a case of, it was like, all right, well, the bride's dad hates me. And all of them are just way tighter knit than I am. So I guess that's it for me. I guess that's over.
It's
that era of my life is over. But there was one good thing about this wedding, Sam. And do you know what it was?
The food?
No. The food was good, though. The food was good, but it was not the best part. Actually, the appetizers were great, but it was not the best part.
The fact that you had something to do on a Saturday? I don't know.
No, I could have played Tears of the Kingdom on a Saturday. Are you kidding me? I could have fucking dumped Tears of the Kingdom onto my fucking Yuzu playthrough now, baby. We're at that point now, baby. Emulation's good enough now. Let's go.
Oh, really? Yeah, it wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't too bad. I mean,
like
obviously,
a month and a half.
A lot of people with worse rigs than I are, they can't hit 60. Like, my basic thing is, can it hit 60 and can it go at 2K? I don't need a bunch of mods. I don't need anything else. Is it good
your
enough?
2070 Super rig should
2070 Super, and I have a fucking 16-thread 8-core processor. I'll be fine.
Yeah, you should.
Fucking 48 gigabytes of RAM. I'll be fine. Tears of the Kingdom should work on my fucking PC. But and I could watch some Turkey Tom videos in the hotel. Like, I could watch some lol cow documentaries with Turkey Tom where he...
Yeah, you could have been living a little life. You could have been living large.
Where I don't have to hear him accuse anyone of being a pedophile anymore, apparently, because he's not 17 anymore. But, like...
Listen to last week's episode, people, if you want...
Yeah, listen to last week's episode if you forgot. But it was...
Sorry, we have this horrible problem when we do these back-to-back episodes where we just reference the shit that happened 7 days ago for y'all.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just point it out to the people now so they know. Like,
yeah, they might as well. But it was the fact that I got to fucking gussy up and look better than I've looked in 5 fucking years, Sam. I took a selfie, which I never do.
Yeah,
and I sent it to
those.
women, which I never do.
Oh wow! You were really feeling yourself, huh?
Bro,
you were really fucking feeling yourself.
I sent it to fucking... Hold on, I gotta read some of these responses.
You sent it to all 4 women that you know.
I sent it to all the ladies and a couple of guy friends who I just knew, like, appreciated the drip.
Yeah, I got it. I got the image. I really appreciated the drip.
Yeah, you
I
were
love
like,
the drip.
Damn, Nibba, you look sharp. He said that. He didn't say that
verbatim. That's exactly what I said. Yes, exactly.
So I sent it to women. I got the WTF hello handsome from a friend of mine, and then this one's from Yoink, and I'm gonna embarrass you. I'm actually gonna fucking ruin your life with this. Das you, woof woof woof, auga, Myles, more like daddy. And I asked her if she was okay with me cucking Emilio. And then she asked him, and Emilio said yes. I guess now I'm Emilio's cuckold. Yeah, dude.
This is deep. We're dropping deep Crackhouse lore right now. This is deep drama.
Yoink and Emilio are like probably like top 10 longest listeners who are still with the show, like confirmed still with the show.
Confirmed.
Yeah, like I know Emilio is still hanging around, but
well, you picked up his dog tags or something on Terminal. That's how you know, like
no, because Yoink will tell me if he's listened to the episode. But yeah, so I got some of that. I got a lot of just people calling me king. Like, dude, like being in a suit, looking fucking
makes you feel good,
sexy,
right?
Dude. Oh my god, everyone should wear a suit. I don't care how you look, you should wear a suit because suits just make everyone look good. Even the fattest of bastards who ruin the hentai look great in a suit. And just being able to wear a suit and like look good and strut around looking good and knowing I look good. It was like the confidence boost I needed. I came back of fucking like I was like, all right, find a new job, write some new fucking content. You know what? Let's make some videos. Like I just felt so fucking like good and confident, like a winner again because I put on a suit.
Now let me ask, Myles, was this suit rented?
No,
or
I bought the suit.
Damn, so why didn't the fuck did you wear? Why'd you not wear the suit on Crackhouse?
Oh my god. Well, the problem is that it hasn't been dry cleaned and it's sweaty as fuck.
Oh man, it's got swamp ass.
Yeah, it's a swamp ass suit, dude. Dude, that is not a good vibe. Swamp ass suit, not a good vibe.
The vibes are not itchy.
Yeah, but so while I was flying out there though, I was on the plane and I fly Delta. So,
okay.
So I got upgraded to first class, right?
Oh,
and
fuck yeah.
Flying first class is
how long
legit.
was the flight?
It was 2 hours. So
okay.
Not the craziest.
Okay.
Not the
Solid.
craziest, but oh yeah, we were like ass end of the plane, but we got the best seats in the ass end of the plane because it was the seats with the emergency doors. No seat in front of us.
Oh yeah.
So
and all you got to do is like be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll help people.
Yeah,
if
if we go down, I'll help you. Yeah, whatever. You don't even have to mean it.
Like.
You don't even have to mean it. You can literally shit your pants immediately when the plane starts going down.
Dude,
they can't do anything.
Flight attendants don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. And you're truly capable of dealing with an emergency situation.
They just have to know if you're theoretically willing, maybe. Like they're asking with the hope that that yes won't matter by the time you get to the ground. But so I'm on the plane, and normally I pull out my laptop, I dick around, get on Discord. The flight was short enough that I was like, I'm not going to do that, but I'm also not going to put in shitty headphones and watch a movie. So they had games on the on-screen whatever at Delta, and I'm a gamer.
You got games on your plane?
And I'm a gamer. Do you got games on your plane, Fujiko-san? And so I see this old lady in front of me playing like a Find the Object game, like a classic I Spy style game.
Oh, okay. Like Where's Waldo, but with other stuff?
That's nice and simple. Yeah. Well, you got to find a bunch of different, objects. So more like I Spy than Where's Waldo, you fucking idiot. And Sam, I'm playing this game. It's going well enough. Some pretty tough objects to find. Some
pretty tough level design, if you ask me.
Some pretty tough level design. But then shit starts to get really weird. I'm on the second stage, and I notice there's like a pixel art thing on there, right? I think it's like a cute little reference, right? And I'm thinking real generic. All right, is that Mario? Is it Pac-Man? It is an anatomically correct, ripped like CG model of Cranky Kong from Donkey Kong Country, and I'm like, okay, they just scanned in Cranky Kong and put him as a sticker on this bedroom level where I gotta find bedroom objects. So I'm going, okay, that's weird. I wonder if there's more of these video game references. So shit starts to get really strange. I couldn't write down all of them. I didn't find all of them. In the attic, there's a painting of Lulu from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, dude.
And that's not even the most insane one. In the attic also, bafflingly, there's a picture of Shiva, as in Hindu god Shiva, performing Tandava. The famous, like, Tandava pose at the end of the Tandava dance. This is in Shin Megami Tensei 5, that's the only reason I know about it. But at one point, like, so I gotta find these household objects. At one point, they're like, find the sword, okay? I'm on stage, 4 or 5, whatever.
Find these household objects. Find the sword.
They had a lot of guns. Too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
a
couple of the
sick.
guns I could tell were references, but I didn't know to what. And I noticed the gun, as I'm going to click on it, it's Alistair from Devil May Cry. It's just a PNG image of Alistair from Devil May Cry. So they just, on any Delta flight, you can find a game which is stolen assets from the most famous games ever. And they're just hitting around the level. Yeah, find a Lulu from Final Fantasy X.
Dude, oh god, dude, this shit is so funny to me, dude. Do you remember like a year or so ago when there was like that really minor controversy about one of the graphics in the Resident Evil 4 logo was like taken from someone without credit, and it was like finally revealed that the pattern in the 4 of the Resident Evil 4 of Resident Evil 4's logo is like from a professor at the school or whatever, and like they found it or whatever. It was like this mini controversy that they like Capcom didn't credit them or whatever, and all this shit. But then you have shit like, oh, here's Alistair in this Delta game. Oh, here's a YouTube ad that just straight up has Mario assets in a Mario song, like the Galaxy theme or like Gusty Gardens theme is in this YouTube ad.
Well, I always love, like, whenever I see snippets of, like, because people used to do this, they would upload, like, snippets of, like, Korean TV shows or, like, you know, Taiwanese TV shows, and they don't give a shit about copyright over there. Like, I watched one that started playing the Honey Hive Galaxy theme. Like, I don't even remember what the fuck it was even about, but, like, they just started playing the Honey Hive Galaxy theme. There was one that I saw posted on Twitter that was, they were playing the Mushroom Kingdom theme from, Super Mario RPG, like, just, like, and it was over, like, footage of, like, a diving competition or something. I was like, what is going on? Those fucking Chinamen, dude, they love their Mario songs.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't, right? God, that shit is so funny, man. Let me tell you, as a gamer, there's nothing that will take you out of a piece of media than a fucking gaming reference. Like, let me give an example, Myles. A couple weeks ago, I was watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a fucking great movie. Great film. I mean, it won fucking movie of the year or whatever. That's how much a gamer I am. Best picture, whatever. Yeah, movie of the year.
Yeah, movie of the year. World premiere.
Modi.
You see trailers and you go, world premiere.
Yeah, final Oppenheimer trailer. World premiere. Regal exclusive. IMAX exclusive.
Did I talk about my time at the Regal Cinema with like
I didn't finish my fucking story.
sorry.
We'll get to I want to hear about your ass experience at the Regal. I want to hear about your swamp ass experience.
The ads, Samuel.
Oh, your swamp ads experience at the Regal Cinema. Now in Everything Everywhere at All Once, in 2 moments, they don't just do this once, they do it twice. They play the fucking bat hit sound effect from Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yes.
When you crit with the bat weapon, it plays the ching, like,
yeah.
It plays in 2 moments, and that like psyched me out of the film. Like,
the thing is, I think in their mind it was the DBZ crit sound. Like that's a strike sound from DBZ. I don't associate it with DBZ. That sound effect stolen from Dragon Ball? Yeah, well, it's probably a a royalty free sound effect, but because a lot of Melee is
because the instant transmission sound, the ching, is like very specific. It's very specific.
It's not the instant transmission sound. It's a sound for like when people get stricken, but like a lot of Melee uses what's obviously like sourced sounds. Nintendo doesn't do this anymore, like probably because Ocarina of Time got in a bit of hot water for it. People always assume that like the Crescent Moon and the Muslim chanting in the Fire Temple were removed for like racial sensitivity. It's actually because they're copyrighted assets. Which I only discovered from the modding server for the Harbor Master 64, the PC port of Ocarina of Time. If you try and insert the if you try and like ask about like, hey, does anyone have a texture pack with the original things? They're like, no, we don't support copyrighted textures. Like, so I was like, okay, that's why it was removed. Interesting.
You fucking kidding me? You're making a fucking...
Well, they have to remain legally, like, in the
gray. Yeah, they gotta remain in the fucking gray area.
They're doing their best. They're doing their best.
I mean, gotta love a book. I don't know, bro. We're already pretty fucking gray as it is. We can go that's a little darker.
They might know something I don't about the law, but like, that was at the very least, it was an interesting tidbit that I learned. But yeah, like, so Nintendo clearly doesn't do that, but like Melee has a lot of like stock sound effects. Like, in particular, I remember hearing the like reflector sound in Star Ocean 3 till the end of time. Like when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 7, I was like, wait a second, I know that sound. That's the reflector sound. And also the mine dropping sound when you drop a landmine, that's also in Star Ocean 3.
I know the critical hit sound effect from Dark Souls is in a bunch of different shit. Not only games but also like other media and stuff too. You can like hear it.
I think one of my favorite like bullshit, like this is something that's so Myles core and stupid it hurts, but there's a movie in an early episode of Best of the Worst that they talk about in the episode Playing Dangerous, Shapeshifter, and Thunderpants, which is one of my favorite episodes because Thunderpants is an incredible film. Where they watch a bunch of shitty children's movies, and the opening Chiron for Shapeshifter plays the sound in Ocarina of Time when Link leaves a grotto or cavern, like that sort of like heavenly sound, like when you enter the light beam. It's the same sound,
that like sheen sound when,
that, like,
when you warp out of a dungeon.
Sound. Yeah, and no, so the warping out of a dungeon uses that sound, but it pitches it up and down to make it sound more magical. Like specifically when it's the same sound but with the neutral tone, like unaltered. It's also like so they pitch down that sound when you exit a dungeon, and when you exit a grotto, the sound is pitched up. So I assume that's the normal pitch sound because that's the sound that they use for the title of Shapeshifter, a forgotten 90s movie about a kid spy who turns into a griffin.
A griffin?
Yeah, like a magical griffin.
Like the mythical creature?
No, like the Peter. Hey, Lois, I'm a stock sound effect in Ocarina of Time.
This reminds me of that one time I was a stock sound.
This reminds me of that one time I was a stock sound effect in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
30-second cutaway.
It is really funny, though, now that I think about it. Like, yeah, like, a lot of things will, like, try and reference games and anime, and, like, nothing actually... But the thing is, like, we're so inundated with it, and in particular we're so inundated with it and we're so used to not seeing it that it's more distracting to see like representation of anime or gamers in media than it is.
This is so true, dude. This is so fucking true.
If you showed an episode of Friends or Seinfeld, I don't care how big of a Friends or Seinfeld fan you are, that shit is so normalized. Of course they would play it on the TV in this movie, right? Of course they'd play The Sixth Sense. You see someone playing End of Evangelion in a film, you're like, what? Robin Williams is in this movie. What's going on? Like,
dude, there's a whole ass fucking YouTube essay about Evangelion in 1 hour photo. Like that's the fucking shit you're dealing with here, bro. Dude, so I could make a fucking video essay about Sonic's appearance in Breaking Bad. His numerous appearances in Breaking Bad.
Where they
what they'd say about Jesse as a character, you know?
What I would like to say about it is that, in particular, I think that he's not a good guardian to Brock because it's 2008 and he could have bought him Sonic Unleashed, but he bought him 06 instead. That said, Jesse probably bought 06 because it has a 2-player mode.
It does have a 2-player mode in 06.
Which means that he might have seen Unleashed, but said it's more important for me to bond with Brock than it is for me to get him a better game.
It's more important to me to bond with Brock with the shitty fucking game.
Kids don't know any better. Kids
yes,
are
they
stupid.
do. Myles, yes, they fucking do.
I'm sure that,
yes,
here's the thing,
do.
with truly heinous
I'm
games...
sure you played a game when you were 6 years old and you're like, I don't like this. Like,
I think with truly heinous games, you know, but like most games that are like true mid, like Billy Hatcher, you don't know. You don't realize it.
Bro, what the fuck, bro? Why does Billy Hatcher gotta get some fucking bullets this episode, dude?
I don't know. It's the true mid game that I played. Where
I mean, you literally just did a fucking drive-by on old Billy, man. Billy H, bro. He didn't fucking deserve that shit. You just whipped out your Uzi and fucking let it rip, bro. His egg's all cracked now.
The game is just okay, man. Sam. Like, what's the... I'm not allowed to just admit it?
I'm just saying, you're talking about one of the 10 hidden gems on the GameCube here. I don't think you can.
That is not a hidden gem, Sam. That's not a hidden gem.
Oh, I know. I fucking random. I bitch about this shit all the time. It's not a hidden gem if everyone has it on their hidden gems list.
Yeah, like a true GameCube hidden gem would be
there are none.
Well, I was about to say Cubivore.
No, that Cubivore doesn't count anymore either. Cubivore would have counted if we had this conversation 6 years ago.
Do people know Cubivore?
I know. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fair.
People
That's
know
fair.
Cube of War. People who are interested in GameCube know Cube of War. I should say that.
Yes.
Like, because this is the thing. PS2 has hidden gems. PS1 has hidden gems. GameCube has 600 games. It does not have any hidden gems. We know the game. We know the library. I'm sorry. I love the GameCube. You're literally talking to one of the biggest GameCube heads out there. But we know what the fucking library of games is. Like, we know what the worthwhile 120 games are, you know?
It would be like saying, like, Nintendo Switch gems. And even though there's just an endless library of indie games, like, people will pick out, like, oh, yeah, you know, Carnival Games 2, hidden gem of the Switch. Like, you know, just, like, that kind of, like... I mean, it's different for GameCube, which didn't really, like, truly have indie games.
Yeah, it's different. Like, here's the deal. It really depends to me if you want it, like, or a console have hidden gems. The library needs to be somewhat large.
It needs to be large enough that shit will be forgotten about and, like, not even noticed. And I'm sorry, any game that you've heard of is not a hidden gem in most cases. Like, I personally cite Radiata Stories as a hidden gem, but it's not. I'm just the only person I know who's played it. But, like, that game is well enough publicized and people know it well enough, like, to have an opinion on it and probably to have a positive opinion on it. Like,
sorry. Never mind. I was gonna be like, because you said Radiata Stories, and my mind said Radical Dreamers.
Historia. Okay, I thought you were about to say Radiant Historia.
Radiant Historia was the first one. I said, wait, no, that's something different.
And then Radical Dreamers is the
Chrono Trigger VN.
Yeah, the Chrono Cross VN. Which is also not a hidden gem because it's tied to one of the biggest fucking franchises of all time. But
it's also not good.
Yeah, no one likes
not a gem.
No one likes Radical Dreamers, but I don't even think that fucking the creator of the game likes Radical Dreamers. I think that's why he made Chrono Cross. You want to talk about a hidden gem though, Sam? Rayman Origins, which is not a real hidden gem.
Not a hidden gem, but that's a great fucking game, man. But
I specifically want to talk about this because Rayman Origins might be the most subtly influential game of the last, like, 10 years. Because...
You have totally piqued my attention.
Here's the thing. There is nothing in the mechanics of Rayman Origins or Legends that is particularly influential to 2D games. What is influential? The focus on beautiful, brilliant 2D animation, the focus on consistent 4-player multiplayer that isn't a fucking clusterfuck like New Super Mario Bros. And the sort of, like, level variety that's based on, like, okay, you're not just doing platforming. Like, like, certain levels have, like, a fun gimmick to them, right? There's, like, the gimmick level.
The rhythm levels and stuff in Legends.
Yeah, because now we're getting both a Mickey Mouse game and a fucking Mario game that are clearly, like, inspired by Rayman Origins. And no one is talking about this.
Holy shit, that's so funny, man. You're so right, dude. Let me just say, dude, I have to remember that Ubisoft was great once. Like,
not even that long ago.
Good, like, great. Like,
not even that long ago was, like, the last time that they were great, because when they had their little art engine, like, they were pumping out some fucking winners, dude. Child of Light, Rayman Origins and Legends, Valiant Hearts. Like,
Valiant Hearts is sick. Child of Light, dude, is so fucking good. That game is fucking good.
That game is like art, like high art. It's beautiful, and Super Miles Core. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but, like, I like that game a lot.
Yeah, I like I like the partner mechanic in that game, like, compared to something like Paper Mario, where it feels like the partner characters are truly secondary. It feels like, oh, what character is in the other slot is deeply important right now, like, which I like. And that game, again, just as you said, beautiful art style, great soundtrack. Fucking same thing for Origin. All the UbiArt games are fucking great.
Yeah, and then they just stopped making them because
that team is finally back. They're making that new 2D Prince of Persia game. Do you see that? It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I mean, and that's the big thing. Like, Ubisoft clearly needs to reevaluate, and clearly they are.
Yeah, they're starting to kind of turn the ship, it seems like.
Yeah, which I would be happy if, like, because that's the thing you gotta remember, like, Ubisoft wasn't even, like, for as much as everyone complains about the Ubisoft open world, like, for a while, it wasn't, like, that was, like, their only, like, real, like, lame egg that they were producing. Like they're kind of, like, exploitive open world massive games, because otherwise they were still releasing like 2D platformers, 3D platformers that were like stealth games. Yeah,
they had Assassin's Creed, which was like sort of open world. Then they did a lot of Assassin's Creeds. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2 spawned 2 other games from it before they did 3. Yeah. And
people like Black Flag, like people love
like Black Flag, and people also like Assassin's Creed 2. Dude, I gotta be honest, I even started to see some love recently. And by love, I mean actual real love and admiration and respect for Assassin's Creed 1. Which
surprising.
Which is surprising me because I remember playing in high school and saying, this is so bad, I'd rather kill myself. Like, I remember saying that as a 15-year-old. I'd rather stab myself and end my life than continue to play this fucking game. And not because it was bad, it was just extremely fucking repetitive. Like, it felt like there was nothing new happening in Assassin's Creed 1. You'd ride your horse to a location, you'd do 3 bullshit missions, and then you would do the assassin mission, and maybe you could fuck around and jump around in the world a bit and collect some fucking white flags or whatever. Like, really fucking goofy shit. But like, dude, remember fucking Far Cry 3 when that came out in 2012? And it's like, yeah, this is Skyrim with guns. Like, really think about like that phrase and think about like how Skyrim is still a like pretty sizable part of gaming culture. You also have to remember
that Far Cry 3, like, for as criticized as the narrative was at times, it was also considered like sort of a high watermark for game stories. Like it was
the first 70% of that game's story is really good. Basically all the Voss shit, by the way, played by Nacho from
Nacho Varga,
Nacho Varga. Fucking, what is the definition of insanity? In my opinion, by the way, that cutscene is like probably like top 30 or 40 all-time video game cutscene. Is him talking about what is the definition of insanity? It is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Like, I fucking love that shit. It is so fucking good, and there's so much great about Far Cry 3, and they've just continued to just do it over and over and over again, and now everybody fucking hates the series. And it's like, what did you guys do?
There is a baffling scene in Veronica Mars Season 4 where Logan is playing Far Cry 5.
Oh, he's hunting the Americans? He's hunting
he's specifically like, dude,
extremists.
I should be able to kill these fucking cultists, like these like crazy ass cultists. And I was like, oh my god, he's playing Far Cry 5. Like, which, to be fair, that was the most recent release. It was what, 2018?
I mean, it was, but that just so dates the show for me because I'm like, okay, I know this was filmed in 2018.
Yeah, because no one likes or remembers Far Cry 5. Like, Logan Echolls shouldn't even like fucking Far Cry 5, dude.
I don't know. Actually, I gotta be honest. Between Far Cry 4, 5, and 6, I feel like 5 is the most well-respected and well
Is it? Because I think 4 is the one that people reflect on the most, specifically because of Pagan Min.
I mean, Pagan Min's he's alright. I mean, he's okay, like...
But you have to remember that people really liked that character, like, when the game came out.
I mean, definitely. I mean, we got to give it again. Nacho was the real OG for making obviously Far Cry be a series known for its villains. But I think it's fair. You know, it's fair to say that Pagan Min solidified the fact that Far Cry, we have crazy, eccentric, fun villains that like you're gonna take out. Because 5 plays into that with the cult leader who's based off some real guy who I don't know.
And then it is funny that they moved from like probably D tier celebrity at the time who was involved with Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. No, with Michael Mando. And then they moved up to actual fucking A-lister involved with Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and no one liked the game.
It's just like, and it's just one of these things where it's like, is Far Cry 6 like a bad game from like in a vacuum? Like, not particularly, but we don't play games in a vacuum. We play games with the experience of every single other game releasing around it, as well as what came before it and what could come after. And it's like, when you take into that's the problem with Ubisoft, is when you take Ubisoft in that context, their games don't, a lot of their contemporary releases just don't square up. You know,
it is really funny to me because I was talking about this. I have a lot of people who like when I praise Tears of the Kingdom, or even Death Stranding, like, you know, a lot of these open world games that I like, and I don't like all that many of them. A lot of them will be like, yeah, I just wish every game was an open world, and I'm like, yeah, me too. So that these fucking games that I keep shilling are like actually like fucking exceptions and not this like trend that everyone's tired of. Because like if I had my way, there would kind of be only like 4 mainstream companies making open world games. It'd be fucking Nintendo with Zelda, and that's it. They wouldn't be making other open world games. It would just be every fucking 6 years you get a new open world Zelda. It'd be fucking Kojima Productions, Rockstar, because you know what? Show them some love. They do. Yeah, everyone loves their fucking own world games. Show them some love. Fuck it.
I mean, GTA is great.
Yeah, like here's the thing.
It is great.
When I'm saying like, I'm not saying this with a like, I hate Rockstar. I'm, you know, whatever. I have not played a single fucking Rockstar open world game. That said, I know that people love and respect Rockstar, and so even though I have no dog in their fight, I absolutely think they should keep doing what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
And 4 is okay, well, here's the thing. I was gonna say FromSoft because Elden Ring is new and hot, but if we want open world, yeah, but if we want to go with it, you know what, no, if we're gonna count like Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3, that open-ended kind of situation, I would say FromSoft should be making open world games. But I'm also gonna throw Cyberpunk a bone, and I'm gonna say CG Projekt Red, they do a pretty good job too.
Dude, the game is fucking good, man. I played it like a few months ago, and also, but Myles, dude, did you fucking see this shit? What they're doing with like patch 1.7 and stuff when the DLC comes out in like September?
No,
dude, the whole game's getting like massively overhauled. Like, dude, they're changing the skill tree. They're fixing the skill tree. That's like the one thing I had my biggest issue with was the skill tree. It took too long to like make a build. And they're like, yeah, we're changing it so we're like minimizing the amount of passive upgrades you get on the skill tree, and we're trying to make it all like active shit that would like Dying Light. When you upgrade your skill tree in Dying Light, it kind of radically changes the way you play the game.
Yeah.
Because you get like a game-changing move or ability. And it's like, fuck! Like, you're telling me Cyberpunk's gonna have that shit now? Fuck yeah! Like, along with other, like, open world shit that people expected the game to have, even though as, like, a classic RPG, like, I get why people expected police cop chases and shit, but that's gonna be fucking added in the game. And this is all, like, a free overhaul. This is like a day one patch on the day of the DLC coming out, but that's gonna be free for anyone who already owns the game. So it's like, they're really fucking trying. They're really
steering
going
that
for
ship
it.
around. I mean, they're probably doing what they intended to do in the fucking first place with the
exactly. And it's a fucking shame that people had to spend $60 for the game to like 3 years ago for the game to finally get here. But I don't know. The game's gonna exist. The game in its entire lifetime of the existence of humanity from past to future, like, you know, this new version of the game is going to be what it is.
Well, that's what I kept saying whenever people complained about, like, go back and watch the Tears of the Kingdom trailer sometimes and just see how little they showed. Like, and then just how much was actually in the game. Like, truly, how much, like, people were like, oh, no, they didn't do much. There's not much in this fucking game. Oh, no, actually, they just didn't show you anything because it was way more interesting for them not to spoil the entire fucking game. Because you're a fucking bitch who wants to know the whole story before you finish it. And then, by the way, a bunch of the cutscenes that they show in the trailer are like endgame fucking cutscenes. So they did spoil the fucking story like you fucking wanted, you idiots.
Yeah.
Fuck off. It's like, that's kind of my point, is just like, games are going to spend more of their time out than not out. And so, like, that's why I'm like, whenever, like, a game is like, oh, you know, they're not showing enough in the trailer, it's like, that's fine. That's fine. You're either yes or no, you know, wait for the fucking release of the game and then wait for reviews and buy it then if you're not interested. If there's nothing, like, tying you to the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And in fact, Myles, I'm going to take that, like, 2 or 3 steps forward. Probably don't buy new games unless you're actually genuinely thoroughly interested in the product.
Yeah, like with me with FF16, I said, you know what, I'm still playing, you know, I'm still playing Tears of the Kingdom. I got other games I want to play first. Like, for as much as, like, there's just nothing about FF16 right now that really, like, grabs me. Actually, I want to talk about this because the FNAF movie is coming out in October, right? And it
okay,
made
hard left turn. Okay, cool.
It made me reflect on FNAF and why it was so successful. And as much as you can make fun of FNAF, the one major thing that it did that was so fucking huge was that
release multiple games.
They released multiple cheap, shitty, incomplete games within a few months of each other. And all they had to do was drip feed you lore because and then open up the fucking tool so that people could have constant FNAF. Like there's fucking 5 FNAF games in like a year. And then there was nothing but FNAF fan content, which Scott Cawthon like oversaw. And anytime there was a lull in FNAF, they would just pull some bullshit to get some FNAF back. And like the thing about keeping people interested is if your IP isn't like this like god tier, like important formative thing that people are going to be like, I'm going to show the fuck up for a Resident Evil game. Like I'm not going to show the fuck up for a remake of a Resident Evil game. I don't care that much. But when Resident Evil 9 is announced, no matter what it looks like, I'm going to be interested. Right? Yeah. I'm going to care. Or, you know, because Resident Evil is so formative to me. Oh, Kojima's making a new game. Fuck yeah, you know, going in on that. Like, I haven't played fucking Armored Core, but I'm spitting everywhere, I'm sorry. I haven't played fucking Armored Core, but I heard it's this legacy series. Like, I've heard the name before. I'm super interested in trying it out. Like, those are the kinds of series that, like, survive when they're, like, not just, like, fads, right? But, like, things that, like, thrive are things that have this, like, legendary pedigree to them. Most new things struggle to carve out a legacy pedigree. Even
dude, I feel like FNAF has a legacy pedigree.
Exactly. But that's the point. It made one for itself by being present and constantly releasing stuff, and in particular building a mystery that made people want to come back and solve it.
Yeah, I respect it, man. I mean, here's the old FNAF.
I have no problem with FNAF. Like, I'm not saying this to disparage FNAF, but like, other than the first one, 3 and 4 are fucking terrible. 2 is pretty good, but it's like a little like overstuffed and unbalanced.
Yeah, I appreciate 2 for being like, we got 11 fuckers you got to deal with now. Like,
yeah, and also
like
there's
more
no
than
door.
double.
Yeah, there's no door this time. Like it's fun.
It's just like, oh Jesus fuck, like.
Yeah, there's the toys
just out in the open. It feels horrifying. Yeah,
the balloon boy coming through the fucking vents.
Puppet man, like
Oh yeah, no. What is the name of the puppet guy? The teardrops.
Man, because it's Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, Golden Freddy. So the OG 5. Then there's Neo Freddy, Neo Bonnie, Neo Chica, Fucked Up Foxy.
Well, aren't they
8,
called the toy lines?
9.
The toy Chica, toy Freddy, or is that later?
They might be those might be the names, but I'm just calling them Neo because they're the new models or whatever.
Right.
Like the new models of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. Foxy's all fucked up. He's not coming back or whatever.
Well, his name is Mangle now.
Mangle, thank you. And then there's Balloon Boy and then Puppet.
Yeah, which the puppet's like a secret, like 6th super boss that you only get under like a certain circumstance.
Well, you have to play the music box, right? You have to like wind up the music box.
Right. And if you fail to wind up the music box, he'll like turn off the lights and come at you, which is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and with FNAF in particular, like that game kind of like stayed relevant by sheer force
by releasing
of will.
shit.
Yeah, by Scott Cawthon just constantly releasing games, and in particular, constantly upping the ante of the mystery. Like, okay, great, we solved it. You know, the FNAF 1. All right, we solved the mystery. It was what's his face, like, and then 2 like throws a curveball. Right, and then 3 throws a curveball. There are 2 bites. One of them is not the bite of 87. There are 2 bites. Like,
it's fucking crazy, dude. Can you believe there's 100+ game theory FNAF videos?
I can, and that's just it. Like the other part is like people like
there's over 100 theories on FNAF.
It's incredible.
Truly, that's insane. That's an insane.
There is something
idea
like that. Like I think that. Because here's the thing, Five Nights at Freddy's is not a good enough game to get to legendary status. Like, not in the same way that, like, PT is a 20-minute game! And it has legendary status. Obviously, Kojima, Del Toro, you know, Reedus, like, being this, like, dream team collab that... Oh, and, Junji Ito. like being this like dream team collab that never was. But like even then, people respected the fuck out of the actual video game that was PT.
Yeah, but also PT is legendary in our circles as like hardcore gamers. FNAF is actually like an iconic franchise. You know,
I'm staying in games because like I particularly want to talk about this like legendary pedigree thing in relation to other things. But like, okay. But then you have something like Undertale, where that is as good as it should be to be like a legendary kind of game. Obviously, the insane fandom helped to keep it relevant, but like, or Celeste. I think Celeste is an even better example. Celeste doesn't have an insane fandom. Most of the fan art's pretty normal.
Yeah, true. But also to that, Myles, like I don't feel like Celeste love is as strong as Undertale love. Like,
well,
I
no,
feel like
but
Undertale...
Celeste has like really like survived in a way that a game that doesn't have a nutty ass fandom, and that's also like the only game in its own franchise has, like to a degree.
I guess. Celeste is
it's
stuck
not,
around.
It's not as legendary as Undertale, but it has like endured in a big way.
Okay, I personally, just in my, I guess in sort of my gaming circles, I never particularly see Celeste brought up, discussed, or used as point of reference or example of something good in contemporary gaming. Like, for example, I like when there's like system, like when a game or whatever maybe has is either like has a focus on non-violence or either a focus on using mechanics in like a different like using traditional game mechanics in like a more non-traditional way. Like a lot of people point to Undertale. It's like, oh yeah, it's like Undertale. Like we're like, oh, it's like Dark Souls or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's like Undertale.
So the problem is that Celeste is too
doesn't
derivative.
Really get pulled like that.
Celeste is too derivative because it's derivative of classic like Massacre Mario mods, like you know, like Super Mario World
or like Metro or like
Meat Boy. Yeah, like it's not. Which Meat Boy? That's another legendary pedigree game among gamers because that was a groundbreaking game that actually like was huge. And even though it was kind of inspired by like Flash,
Super Meat Boy brought back hard games like Meat Boy is the reason video games are advertised as hard.
Yes, because it's now got it's a niche and it has an appeal. Yeah, like there are some games like Papers, Please that people will bring up every now and then, but they're not like legendary, even though they're well respected and well liked and probably fondly remembered by people.
Papers, Please, upper echelon of indie games for sure.
Yeah, like that's definitely like if you're here's the thing.
That's making my top 50 indie games list, you know?
In the last 5 years, no one has cared about Papers, Please. But people who like were really like into indie games when we were growing up, yeah, Papers, Please that's a fucking classic.
You know what indie game has like totally fallen off that was super legendary in like our era? Like one of the OG great phenomenal indie games has like totally fallen off. Braid 2, that also. I was thinking of FTL though.
Oh, FTL. No, people still play FTL.
I guess so, but it's never brought up in the same. The
thing about FTL is that it has such a strong fandom with people who just want to play FTL in particular that it's kind of hard for it to catch on unless you're talking to. I feel like Deep Rock Galactic is going to be this exact same way, where everyone's obsessed with Deep Rock Galactic right now. And to be fair, that game's had like a 4-year fucking run. Like it's doing pretty well for itself, similar to FTL. But like people are gonna kind of like 5 years from now, the next generation of indie gamers who are like discovering indie games are not going to care about FTL the way that people right now do. Yeah. Right? I feel a similar thing.
What do you think is in that current gen? Like, what do you think is in like the 2019?
I would say Rain World 1 kind of fell off in that way. Like without Rain World 2, I think Rain World like people aren't going back to Rain World 1.
No, I gotta be honest, I only know about Rain World from the Matthew Matosis video. Like, yeah, that's the only notable like piece I've ever seen about that game. I don't really think that game is relevant at all. I'm actually shocked it's getting a sequel.
it was a big deal when it came out. There are certain things. I think Slay the Spire in 5 years as well.
Dude, I see Slay the Spire all the time, man.
Well, that's
you
why
might
I said
be right though.
That's why I keep saying in 5 years, because here's the thing. There's a ton of deck building games that are trying to do what Slay the Spire did, and one of them is going to catch on more than Slay the Spire. Or the trend is going to die because no one cares, after a certain point. And people are just not going to say, oh, you should go back and play Slay the Spire. That's a fucking classic. I feel like this happened with Pillars of Eternity as well. Like Pillars of Eternity was, PoE was huge. And PoE 2 came out, and I think it was controversial.
didn't do anything really.
Yeah, like
it didn't make any waves.
Yeah, and again, that's a similar thing of like even Hotline Miami and Hotline Miami 2 is like a weird like Hotline Miami 2 kind of halted interest in Hotline Miami.
I think because I feel like I just remember in the lead up to Hotline Miami 2, like in around like that year,
game
like
was the hottest thing in the fucking world for a while.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. Hotline Miami was sick, and I just feel like you ask someone who's like 16 or whatever, like who's a gamer who's like in it, you know, you ask someone like Hotline Miami, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about, old man?" Like,
yeah. Meanwhile, they might, and I'm not just saying like we're not implying like 16. Oh, all they do is floss and play Fortnite, right? Like we're not saying that. Like there might be.
We're talking about people who are in it, like us, like people who are in it, like us. But
there are
like,
people
they wouldn't know that game.
The people who are like on Steam or even on like the Nintendo Switch, you know, eShop, like looking for the deep cut games. You know, the people who are playing like Neon White or Tunic, like those kinds of people.
I think Neon White is in the new gens like pantheon.
Hades
like I feel like
is new
Hades
gen
is
pantheon
same
as
thing.
well.
Yeah.
Which Hades might endure.
Awesome.
I think Hades might endure. The fandom is so like rabid; they'll keep
Hades
it alive.
will endure because it's getting a sequel.
That too, and it's getting a sequel relatively soon. Like,
I mean, yeah, it's their direct follow up to Hades. Is Hades 2?
Yeah,
so.
and the thing is, it was announced in 2022, and it's probably going to be out within the next year and a half or something like that. Like at a point when Hades had already left early access.
Yeah.
And so I think for sure like Hades will endure. Disco Elysium has a chance of enduring. The problem is that the company that managed Disco Elysium is fucked. So like they might not be able to keep it alive and keep it relevant for very long.
Disco Elysium, I think, will endure because I don't think another game, indie or AAA or anything in between, will quite reach the level of writing quality.
They will try.
They will attempt it, but they won't hit it. And also, the game is just so unlike any.
Well, it's so
other
unlike anything
game
that's
in its
been
genre.
made. Yeah, well, it's so unlike, because here's the thing, it's just Planescape Torment, like, really, if we're being honest.
Well, yeah, when you break it down,
but Planescape Torment was the fantasy rendition of it. The idea of something that focuses on modern day politics is what is the flavor that makes it so different. But like the idea of like specking out a character until they take on a life of their own is Planescape Torment. But there's two really unique elements with Disco Elysium from my understanding, which is the fact that you can't make a good character. Your character will always like balance horribly off kilter and become like their own person who's horribly over specialized, and that it's about modern day politics. Those are the two really like big, really interesting things that make Disco Elysium like such a legendary game. I feel this way about like the reason that I think people are so about like the people who play Death Stranding and like cherish it are so about it, where it's like there is never going to be a game about walking that is that intensive, and in particular with the flavor of the weirdest Japanese guy writing the worst script ever, and you still cry at the end. Like, yeah. Like that particular flavor just no one else can do it, and I think like that's a big thing, like that flavor that just is eternal and just lasts.
Yeah.
But the more you can like make that flavor happen again, I think that the more something is likely to be a trend and to die.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you, and it's just like, yeah, because I all the fucking games, dude, all like the indie golden era Xbox Live Arcade games, I feel like have all fallen to time. Maybe with the exception of Meat Boy still remains kinda.
I think Meat Boy is a Shovel Knight instance where like the character just keeps the game alive. Like Shovel Knight appearing
That's a good point.
Everything
keeps it relevant, yeah.
Even though like in my opinion, Shovel Knight hasn't been like relevant in a while. Like
hasn't been relevant in probably 4 or 5 years, despite having Shovel Knight Dig as a game, the puzzle game, like some like notable spin-offs. But
yeah, and a great DLC, like campaigns.
Awesome DLC.
Yeah, like Shovel Knight, I think hasn't been like relevant, but like Shovel Knight as an IP will continue to be relevant. I feel this way with Shantae as well. Like there hasn't been a fucking Shantae game since 2014, I think.
That's
2016.
Not right.
No, 2016.
That can't be right. That can't be right. Well, didn't Half Genie Hero come out in like 2018 or 2019?
Oh, was it 2018? Jesus Christ. That's unfortunate if it's 2018. If that game feels older than it is. Like, that game is, like, so ancient, like, discussion-wise.
Dude, bro, I'm so off, bro. Dude, Half Genie Hero wasn't even the last fucking most recent game of the series. It was fucking Shantae and the Seven Sirens. The games are Shantae, Risky's Revenge, Pirate's Curse, also known as the one good game in the series.
That's the one. I played. That's the only one I played.
It's Shantae, Half Genie Hero, and then Shantae and the Seven Sirens. Those are like the main games.
Wow.
And then Seven Sirens looks like it came out in 2019, it says, according to this. But I think Seven Sirens also got a like update after like a year or 18 months or something like that added a bunch of content in the game from like Kickstarter goals or whatever.
I mean, I might have to play it, I guess, but like, I'm not a big Shantae like person, but all the girls
I don't really
are hot.
fuck with Shantae. I gotta be honest. Yeah, can I keep it a buck with you, Myles? Can I admit something like on the show right now?
Sure.
I don't really fuck with like Way Forward at all. Like I don't really like any other games.
I don't like. You know what my problem is, Sam, is that I'm such a simp for their art style that I'll put up with their games.
I gotta look this up way forward because like Mighty Switch Force I want to fucking like so much and I don't like, and the soundtrack's so fucking good and I don't like the game.
The problem is that it's just not a very interesting puzzle game.
Yeah, it's just it's like a platformer action game with annoying puzzle elements. Like, I just want it to be Mega Man. Like, can you just be Mega Man and make it fun?
That's why you gotta play Azure Gunvolt, you know? A game by a different
Azure
company.
Gunvolt. Well, dude, I also don't really like Azure Gunvolt that much, which I know is integrates, which I gotta be honest, IMO integrates for me personally is a bit hit and miss. For every Bloodstained that I adore, there's like Azure Strike, which again, Azure Strike, I have tried Azure Striker Gunvolt like 6 or 7 times, Myles. Like, I've really fucking tried. I've really fucking tried to like that fucking game, Myles. I wanna like the pixel art Mega Man inspired game, but it's not Mega Man. It's Mega Man Zero, and I don't like Mega Man Zero. Mega Man Zero is about score. I don't want to play score.
So what you're saying is that's not on the Squash the Beef tour for your Squash the Beef tour?
No, I don't know what entirely is on my Squash the Beef tour. I mean, there's definitely like games that need to be in the Squash the Beef tour.
The thing about the Squash the Beef tour is that it's specifically any game where you feel any sort of frustration at your own opinion of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Azure Striker Gunvolt deserves one last attempt, one last set on the
but like,
the tour,
I think
man.
6 or 7. There's a reason that like Majora's Mask is not on the Squash the Beef tour, because I've tried.
No,
enough times.
I feel, and also I feel confident in my opinion on the game.
Yeah, I'm confident being like, hey man, it's great art. It's great art if you pretend it's not interactive. If you pretend the only thing to do is talk to NPCs, it's a great game. Like, if you delude yourself into imagining it's just a game about talking to NPCs, it's a blast.
Yeah. You know what game's got to go on the Squash the Beef tour, Myles? Dark Souls 2. I think Dark Souls 2 is.
Well, you didn't finish Dark Souls 2 even, did you?
No, I played like 8 hours of it, and I said I fucking hate the controls. I'm turning this off.
Yeah, that's a good Squash the Beef game.
That's the problem with that fucking game, is I know I would like the level design. I know I would fuck with the world. It's the fucking controls. It's that it's Dark Souls but 20% worse.
And 20%'s a lot, by the way.
It is. It's a fifth. I'm getting 4/5 souls.
That's their next game.
Dark Souls 4/5.
It's like Lion King 1.5.
Yeah, or Naked Gun 33 1/3.
I guess Kingdom Hearts 2 might have to be on the Squash the Beef tour. I don't dislike that game enough, though.
You have beef with Cage 2?
No, that's the thing. I don't dislike that game enough, though. My controversial opinion with Kingdom Hearts 2 is that I prefer Kingdom Hearts 3, and at this point, no one cares. No one gives a shit. Like, it's just like after Limit Cut, everyone's like, yeah, no, Cage 3 is pretty good. Like, They prefer. Most people prefer two, but
I just remember my experience with the with the Kingdom Hearts series being that I was like, it was back in college and I was going to stream all the games because a bunch of my other friends were playing through them at the time. We were all going to try to beat them before the year's end or whatever. So I started KH1 and I beat it. Thought it was fine. Thought it was a 6.
That was that's a classic Sam 6.
Yeah, where it's like, it's totally okay, totally fine. Which says some moments of like, that game's got the 6th gen tomfoolery. It's got
level. Capital B bullshit.
Where you just gotta walk around and hope you stumble on the cutscene trigger to continue on. Like, or know to use Fira on a specific door in Traverse Town. That's the one I'll never get over. Was that, because I spent 2 hours walking around Traverse Town.
There's a big symbol of fire on the door. To be unfair, it is fucking impossible to see that door.
It's modeled. The door is modeled in such a way that it doesn't look interactable. All right.
Well, I agree.
I know about the pyro symbol on the door. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, I see." But the door doesn't look interactable.
I think the major problem with it specifically is that the one time that you go into that room, it's a giant boss arena, and you can't see the boss arena very well because you're only facing the front of it.
Your brain doesn't register it.
Your brain doesn't register that there's an alley there. It's like, it's hard to explain, but like it truly is very easy to miss, despite also being blatantly obvious once you know it's there.
Like I'll give a recent example. So, and maybe we can talk about this a bit. So, Myles, I have decided that it's enough. Enough is enough. It's time to play through the classic Final Fantasy games. It's time to cut the shit out and beat this fucking game. So I'm committing to 1 through 6 and probably 7. And I'm just gonna play the Pixel remasters because I don't got all fucking day. And I like the first game.
They're all good.
And they are good. I have squashed the beef with the Pixel remasters. I definitely had beef with the Pixel remasters. I feel like my beef is squashed with the Pixel remasters. I'm okay. I can play the Pixel remasters and feel mentally okay with myself. I don't hate myself when I play the Pixel remasters anymore. So I started by replaying through Final Fantasy 1 for consistency's sake, and because I really wanted to replay Final Fantasy 1. And in classic Sam Kingdom fashion, I thought I was doing something new and original by picking a fighter, thief, black mage, and black belt, or flip those last two. And I thought, I'm like, yeah, I've never done this before. That was literally my last fucking playthrough of the game, was that exact fucking order of people. And I didn't realize it till like 3 hours in, and I'm like, well, okay, well, I like this team. I like these guys. And yeah, let me just say, Final Fantasy 1, fucking the best shit ever. So fucking good. This game is fucking awesome. Although, the Pixel Remaster, kind of a fundamentally different game than Final Fantasy 1 on NES. They're both JRPGs. To be fair, it can be
closer to it than any other remake, besides the PS1 version.
It's definitely it's between all the versions, between like Dawn of Souls on GBA, the PSP version, which is based on Dawn of Souls, but even more remade from that. I think your best bet for an OG experience is Final Fantasy 1 PS1?
Yes, that's
like
absolutely
Final Fantasy
true.
Origin?
Because the Pixel Remaster has two things that are like huge, like from a game standpoint. Moving diagonally, massive. And also just the speed ups, massive. So like, if you want like a truly like OG experience that isn't busted, the PS1 version, and also the sprite work of the PS1 version is beautiful.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, the PS1 version.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in when you get to Final Fantasy 2, because 2 is universally considered the worst thing ever.
I'm about to, I'm gonna get to 2 this week. I actually wanted to get to it a couple days ago, but I've been moving, as you can see by like fucked up background. And, when I played 2 when the Pixel Remaster, when I beat Pixel Remaster 1 like a couple years ago, I played like 2 hours of 2 and I really fucking liked it, but I didn't go back to it because I probably got distracted by other shit or wasn't like that compelled to continue. But now that I'm like, oh no, I'm playing these fucking games. I'm getting these under my fucking gamer belt. Cause it's just been too long. I gotta do this shit, man. And I really fucked with 2 when I played it. I like Western role-playing games, and the experience systems are Western role-playing game experience systems, just with turn-based combat. I'll see how I feel about those systems 10 hours into the game.
Yeah, I think the big problem is just like how fundamentally unbalanced those systems get. But like I have no problem with the actual level up experience. It's just that the game is insane about them. I think I had something written down that's kind of in the same. Oh yeah, no, this is based on my thing about like what the big point that I wanted to make with the FNAF game is that game the franchise in the film has endured for as long as it has because it stayed like relevant in the minds of the fans and it has had constant content to keep people interested. And a game that I like with Tears of the Kingdom, I was there all day, like with these trailers and everything. Like I was all about that. But you know what a game is that I was like so about, and now that there's a sequel on the horizon, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll get to that. There's like just like no hype for it. I know I'll play it.
Ooh, let me think about this. That's so, oh man. I mean, because it can only be a few things.
Okay, let's hear them.
I mean, I don't think the answer is DS2. I don't think the answer is Death Stranding 2.
No.
I think you seemed pretty excited for that when we talked about it when the trailer was shown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being very like I have no like interest in DS2 at the moment. Like I'm
but
not
you're gonna
like going
play it when it comes out.
Yeah, like I'm not going to all the trailers like ooh, what's in this one? Like I have accepted, and I felt this way with Tears of the Kingdom, where I'm like, whatever I predict is gonna be wrong. Because I'm not as clever as these people, so just let it happen. So I'm not like in like the hype mode of like, oh, I wonder what this is
the sequel
about.
Dated for like this year?
Yeah, it's coming out this year.
Oh, fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck could it be? Because it's got to be like, what the fuck's coming out? What the fuck's coming out this year? What the fuck's even coming out in the back half of this year that you're like? Because it was
when
like
you see it, it'll be wait no it got delayed. It's not coming out this year. Never mind.
Oh shit! What is it?
It's Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
Oh wow! Really? You're not interested in it?
I'm not interested. I just like the fact that it's like so like the difference is when Tears of the Kingdom got its September release, I was like oh my god, the game's real, it's got a title. Like I was like nuts about it, right? I was insane. I was spitting all over my microphone.
And also by the way, to clarify, you meant when the game's name was revealed in September.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like one of that trailer was like so mid. They didn't show anything except for the title, and I was like, this is the best day of my life! Like, it was like, so like disproportionately excited that there was text representing a title to a platonic concept that I was already thoroughly aware of. Like, in hindsight, not very interesting. But at the time, that was big, and especially the release date, right? Whereas like 7R2 got like a release date trailer, and we got like a couple seconds of gameplay, and I was like,
I thought we saw more than a few seconds, but I could be misremembering.
When we got the initial release date trailer, which was December 2023.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool, good to know it's coming out. Like, felt nothing, right? And then we saw all that footage at Gamescom,
Summer Game Fest.
Summer Game Fest. Can I just talk for a second about the funniest moment in video game history is when Jeff Keighley says Final Fantasy VII and everyone starts clapping. He's like, hold on, because he knows he's about to disappoint everybody with the Taco Bell promo.
It was a DoorDash promo.
Sorry, DoorDash promo for Final Fantasy VII. And then, of course, we got 7R2 at the end of the show, so it wasn't, like, the worst thing that ever happened. But that was the funniest thing, like, how hype, like, uncontrollably everyone got, and he had to be like, guys,
dude,
sorry.
Let me just say, one of my favorite things ever is watching, like, live audience reactions to game reveals where it's hype and then the wind gets taken out of everyone's sails and they start booing or awing or just shutting up.
Yeah.
Like when fucking, like, do you remember when Final Fantasy VII got remastered on PS4?
Yes.
In like 2016 or whatever, and they played it at the PlayStation Experience. They played a trailer for it at their little like showcase thing they had. Their like live event
funny,
they had.
And Square Enix seems to know this because they did this with Kingdom Hearts 3 as well when they announced UX, like the mobile game, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 right afterwards. And they did the same thing where it's like FF7's coming to PS5. Also, the remake's happening. Like, that same day.
See, they didn't do that time around. They didn't tell us the remake was happening.
Right.
They just told us that, hey, Final Fantasy VII is back on PS4. Remastered. And you just hear literally everyone's fucking dicks deflate.
Yeah, like in real time.
Real time. Yeah, it's so awesome.
Well, I think the thing is that the game had already had the remake announced the year before, because I specifically remember the remake, or the remaster, was a 2016 game.
Yeah.
It
was announced in like 2015. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the 7R was announced at E3 2015.
Then it must have been 2014 then, because I remember the remaster.
It wouldn't have come out on PS4.
That's so fucking weird. What the fuck?
I think it was people were excited about the fact that 7R was about to get footage, and then it didn't. I think that was the real disappointing. Yeah,
I guess maybe that was it then.
Because you also have to understand that the game was in trouble because it moved from
CyberConnect 2. Oh my god!
And they had to pull it in-house.
Can you imagine that game?
I can't, and I'm glad I don't live in that world because I'm sorry, Square Enix is just way better at ARPGs than CyberConnect 2. But yeah, like we got a bunch of like great footage of 7R2, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'll play it when it's out. And I said the same thing about FF16, and I was like, I specifically remember there was a state of play about FF16. It was like 20 minutes long. And I was like, yeah, I'll watch that. And I just never got around to it. And I'm still interested. I'm still going to play it. And I'm probably going to like the game because it's a fucking stylish action game. And I like those just inherently. And I like the Final Fantasy flavor. But like I'm just like, yeah, man, finally my PS5 is gonna see some action when that game comes out. I don't give a shit. I didn't buy it. I'll buy it someday. I'll buy it eventually. And then with 7R2, I'm like, yeah, I'll play that, I guess.
I'll play it when I feel like it.
I'll play it when I get to it. And you know what? I might get that at launch, and I'll probably fucking love it because I love the first one. And the first one I expect to be the worst of the 3 games, to be perfectly honest with you. But it's just really funny how, like I was just thinking, it's like, man, FNAF really just, like, had this, like, stranglehold of culture over people. And it made me start thinking about how, like, I have just no interest in 7R2. Like, emotionally, I know I'll like the game. I know I'll play the game. I know I like 7R. I know I like Final Fantasy VII. But in my heart, I don't feel anything about the game right now. And yeah, that's like just like a normal thing that you feel sometimes with these games.
No, I mean, it's cool. I'm not. I mean, hey man, I'm not. I'm about to play Final Fantasy 2. All right, I got a long way before I get to fucking 16. You know, like, so I got no fucking personal stake in this franchise. But like, I get it, dude.
Like, it's just such an interesting like thing. You know, to know that there's a product that, like, you were hyped for at one point, and now you just don't care. But at the same time, you don't care to the point where you still care enough that you're interested and you want to play it.
Yeah, I'm just at the point now in my life where, like, I really can only mentally justify buying a game if I'm actually interested in it at this very moment. Like, because Final Fantasy 16 has existed in our time. By the time you listen, it's been out for a couple weeks.
I have friends who have beaten the game already, like, for context.
Yeah, it's been out for like a week, or maybe even a bit, maybe a longer pre-release copies if you were able to get it a little early.
It's been out for I think 5 or 6 days because it came out
6 days. I'm pretty sure it came out on the 22nd. I'm pretty sure. And 22nd. And
well, so it's been out for a week now because it's midnight.
Yeah, and it's just like I bet I probably would fuck with that game if I played it, but I'm good. I'm good. And I gotta be honest, I don't really feel like a huge like mental like, oh, I really gotta play this. Like, yeah, oh, I really gotta play this.
Dude, being off social media just frees you. Like, I think the funniest thing is that like I was playing Tears of the Kingdom way slower than all of my friends, and I had friends who'd beaten the game, and they were telling me, oh, dude, you know, this part's really like, I can't wait for you to see this, or like whatever. Like they were not spoiling me, but being that it was the same map as Breath of the Wild, they could say like, yeah, wait till you get to Gerudo Desert, man. Like, you know, and that's not a real spoiler because I knew this map like the back of my hand already. And I just, at no point did I feel any hurry whatsoever. I didn't feel like I was getting spoiled at all. I didn't feel like, it has been funny because, like, I'm finally getting all the contrarian, not a masterpiece video essays.
Yeah,
and, like,
I told you, I told you it was going to.
No, I knew it was going to happen. But, like, also at the same time, like, they're all from, like, 2 or 3 weeks after the game came out. And none of them have, like really great numbers. Like they're hovering around like 80K. Like one has 150K views. That one is not too bad.
It's not here's the thing with
it's just not
with
the format's not interesting to people anymore.
It's not even just that. It's not like I take it from like as someone who had a viral video review, like your opinion on the game as represented in your title and thumbnail, not even necessarily your true opinion, but as it is represented in title and thumbnail, needs to connect with people on like this base or innate level in some way in order for them to be interested. Because I feel like most people like Tears of the Kingdom, like most people are genuinely positive on the game.
The only people who are going to click on that video are people who are not positive on the game and they want to feel like that, or
like somewhat vindicated.
Yeah, or people who just will click on anything because they like to have a discussion and leave a comment. Like, and those people exist, and I feel bad for them because they don't yet know that they could be doing something better with their time.
I just feel for those people because they could be making YouTube videos themselves and sharing their opinions that way. Like, you could be making art, you could be making cool stuff and possibly make money from it instead of writing a comment, with
like
4,000 characters worth of opinion.
It is really funny because like Nero released his video and he's.
I like that video, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's not
honestly,
a big fan
I
of the
agree
game.
with most of the fucking critiques of that.
Here's the thing. No, I agree with all of his critiques in that video, except for here's the thing. There's a couple of critiques that are just like fucked up and wrong, like where like specifically when it comes to difficulty balancing and and he gives the game its due diligence. Like he's not like a fucking negative Nancy about it. He's just not a fan. He didn't really care for it that much. But yeah, like him, stuff like, the menus are fucking terrible. Ultra Hand, like, isn't as, like, precise as it should be. The sages are just not as precise as they should be. The sages are especially egregious. I don't really agree with his takes on...
Never mind. I don't want to talk about the sages. Continue.
Yeah. I don't really agree with his take on the story, and, like, there's a weird part of the video where he's like, by the end of the game, all your weapons are only lasting, like, as long as one enemy. And I'm like... Really? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
really?
I never felt that. In fact, like Tom and I have talked about this numerous times. The weapons arguably last too long in this game. Like,
I think they all last too fucking long. But and then I noticed on the video he was just using like a hysterically like weaker weapon for the situation, and it was one of those moments where I was like, was he just trying to demonstrate his opinion and just using the most extreme clip he had, or was he playing like an idiot? Like just. And that's okay. Like, he's allowed to have one or two, like, moments in the video that just are, are just not the best represented.
I make these videos. Sometimes you can't fucking find gameplay that perfectly matches what you're talking about, and you gotta move the fuck on from this 5 seconds.
Yeah,
I get it as, like, a guy who makes these types of videos. I totally get it.
It's one of these, but the weird moment is particularly, like the critique is not my experience, and also the video that you're showing demonstrates that you're doing something wrong. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a decent video overall. Like, it's funny, and a lot of the comments are like, yeah, I mean, I agree with all this. I just don't give a shit. Like, I like the game.
I just like the game anyways. Yeah, I respect that too. Like,
yeah, no, it's a very respectable take. I appreciate that he's willing to put that video out into the world, and I appreciate like his perspective of like, yeah, if you're that offended, fuck off. I don't care. No one's important. No one's opinion's fucking important. So I really like his perspective in the video, and I agreed with a lot of the critiques. But like, a lot of the comments that were like, "Yeah, man, finally a video that tells it like it is." It's like I'm not so stupid that I didn't notice these issues. I just didn't care. They didn't affect me.
Yeah, they didn't like affect your fun level. Like, because that's what I just feel like needs to be fucking said. All video games have significant fucking problems. Like, all of them, literally all of them. You can do game analysis type deep dives and like come up with a fucking critical error. Like, let me give you an example from my favorite game of all time, Shovel Knight. Gold is meaningless around the 2/3 point. At like 65% of the way through the game, you've bought everything you need and you're good. You just can ignore gold, which has this knock-on effect of you ignoring a lot of side content in levels in Polar Night Stage, Tinker Night Stage, Propeller's Night Stage, and really just focused on getting the core upgrades. You're already going to be good with the way the gem economy works. Is that a issue with the game? Yeah, technically. Yeah, it is. That keeps it from being better than it is. But in the grand scheme of the fun and the good that's in the game, yeah, I'm willing to overlook that being a fucking problem.
And my big thing is, like, if someone is really about, like, these are the things. If someone is really about economies in games, that's probably not just a critical flaw. It's probably such a fucking affront to them that they're willing to stake it as, like, a huge problem with just, like, because here's the thing. That is a problem from a game design standpoint. But if someone considers economy like a really important part of games to them, they could argue as far as that being an out and out failing of the experience.
Yeah,
like that is a significant failing.
Yeah, and to be fair to those people who do believe that like economy in games is a significant failing, there are multiple examples of games I would think of where if you felt like the economy, the core economy of the game was fucked up and it would ruin the experience for you, I would fucking agree with you. Like, I would have fucking agree with you. Like, if you're playing a game like if you're especially if you're playing like an MMO or something, you feel like the fucking economy and you genuinely believe and have opinions and evidence to back it up that the economy's fucked up, that is a significant fucking issue with that game. Because a lot of MMOs and how they operate and how their post and end games work is based on auctioneering and shops and how much gold you have and what you can spend and all that stuff. Like, that shit's really important. But it's also it just requires context. It requires like what the game is trying to do, what's important for the game. Like
my critique of Silent Hill and all of the ones that anyone likes, it's probably the least relevant critique of all time that anyone could possibly have. And it's contextual to my preference for Resident Evil, which is the level, there's just no, like, the level design is so focused on recreating architecture that it can't do anything interesting with those levels. Where it's like, okay, there's 900 locked doors in every map. And I always argue, Mulgar was talking about Signalis, where he said, you're probably not going to like the game because all the level design is locked doors. And he neglected to mention initially, the difference is the game doesn't freeze when you examine an item. So if you're running from a monster and you come into a locked door, that's a legit horror movie scenario. Where, oh shit, I cannot escape the situation the way that I wanted to. Now I have to make another decision. Whereas it's like in Silent Hill, the game just completely freezes. So if you're running away from a monster and you come up to a locked door, it's just like slow ass
game pauses and says door's locked.
Yeah, the door is locked, and you go on your merry way, right? Like it's like if someone did a drive-by where they felt the knob and just kept running, right? Like and to someone who's like, okay, well, all I care about are the monster designs and the scares and the ambient design and the sound design. That's not a fucking problem. In fact, you might even like it because it emulates like real life in a way where that kind of madness and frustration is tangible in a horror level. Or like my argument that like the inventory using stacks means that you're never without resources, right? But then one might say, well, it doesn't really matter because the game is tough enough that you're going to be using your resources anyways, and if you're not using your resources, then it doesn't matter how many stacks you have. It's only the illusion of difficulty, like, or the illusion of like a lack of safety, right? Like,
sorry, Discord fucked up. I'm sorry, Discord. I didn't mean to rat you out like that. Sorry, Riverside, of course, you know, the usual fucking suspect. Uh-oh, it's the Riddler again. Wow. I can't believe the person leaving all these riddles at these fucking murderers was the Riddler.
I was about to say, the Riverside. You gotta collect Riverside trophies.
Oh, no.
You gotta find all 98 Riverside trophies. Yeah, but, like, when it comes to flaws with games, like, I think, I guess my issue is just, like, the implication a lot of these video makers make, and maybe even we make this implication all the time, this idea of, like, yeah, I'm giving you the truth. These things you didn't notice, I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna red pill you. It's like,
wake
no, a lot of people
sheeple.
Notice this. Yeah, no, a lot of
Majora's
people notice this
Mask
shit.
isn't good.
Yeah, a lot of people notice this shit. They just don't care. There's only a handful of times where I felt like gamers are truly delusional about something, and I think consistently the delusion just comes from a lack of experience with other things. It's the Nintendo bubble. It's the Sony pony bubble. It is very, very fucking rare that people are just completely and totally like lost about the actual qualities of the game or the actual
Can you give me
game.
Can you give me like a recent example from like the last 5 years of a time you felt like gamers really lost in the sauce and they weren't seeing the game for what it is?
Yeah, I know for a fact that there is one of these. Returnal, from what you've told me, but like,
I mean, because here's the thing, like, I feel like Returnal, what is not a misunderstood game, I feel like Returnal, I feel like people, I gotta be, this is such an elitist fucking thing. I feel like most people couldn't live up to Returnal's ask of them. A Returnal is a game that asks 10 times more of you than most other AAA releases. And it's very old school in the sense where it's like, if you're not operating at the level we expect of you to, you're not going to make progress. And couple that being one of the few PS5 exclusives, now, or I should say now, PS5 console exclusives, because it is on PC now. But I gotta be honest, I thought that game would hit way harder on PC, and it didn't. So
well, the
this
problem
game
is that the specs were absurd.
Yeah,
like, a lot of PC players can't
crazy.
Play it.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. Yeah, it has like it had a pretty high RAM requirement. It used to be 32, but apparently now it's 16. So I don't know if it's still 32 and they just don't tell we recommend 32 anymore to make it look a little nicer or whatever, but I don't know. I own the game on PC. I've not booted it up on my rig yet, so I'm curious to see how it runs and how it compares to playing it on PS5. But the game really did make a second splash on PC, which as a fan of the game, I thought was really unfortunate.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it was just the specs looked too demanding.
I think it was just too heavy. But my hope is that like 3 to 5 years from now, when the game consistently is like $20-$30 and is a bit more,
it'll find its footing. It'll find its footing.
I think it will. I really genuinely
people
do
find
believe.
Good games, and again, I've always said it only takes one good. I guess video essays don't happen anymore unless you're like one of 5 different.
I mean, video essays do happen.
White Light will make a video about it, and it'll be a good video.
I mean, I hope so. I hope White Light makes a Returnal video. That'd be fucking awesome. And I need someone to explain the story to me. Because I played it for 70 hours, and I still don't really get it.
There's a couple of people who are still like consistently making video essays, like Rasputin, Ray Sevic, White Light.
Oh, I love Racevic. Oh my god, I love Racevic.
I feel like the era of like the new voice and video essays.
It's kind of over. People are talking about video games in a much more different way, I feel.
Yeah, and usually in a way that's much more personable, I find, which is pretty cool.
Which I like. I
prefer
don't think
it, honestly.
Yeah,
I prefer it. So I'm not exactly lamenting the death of the video essay like new guy, especially because now it's filtered. So like, okay, Matthew Matosis releases once a year, and that's always fun. If you like Joseph Anderson for whatever reason, he's still going. All the people who like kind of stood out in that era are thriving. I shout outs to Liam Triforce for just being like, I'll just make videos about Zelda because it's all anyone I like. I appreciate that he saw the numbers and saw like, okay, people only care about my Zelda content, therefore I will only make Zelda stuff.
I am not I'm not particularly like a fan of Liam Triforce. I'm not a big watcher of his videos, but I actually really like respect what he's trying to do. Like I really appreciate his Mario 64 video. I think it's called Mario 64 More Than a Game.
More Than a Game. That's a good one.
It's good because it's a valuable video because it's about Mario 64 and all of the content in the world, in the culture surrounding this specific game, from the speedrunning culture to like no button press shit. Like, it's cool to see all that covered in an essay like this. It feels very contemporary and very complete.
Well, it's also outside of his own ass. I think that's another thing to point out is like the difference between like King K and Liam Triforce is like one of them seems like Liam Triforce is very emotional and he's very willing to delve into his own emotions, but he's also very willing to look outside of the world of his own ass. Whereas like some people,
he's able to look outside the vestiges of his youth, you mean?
Yes. Well, in particular, like his Ocarina of Time video, his retrospective on it, and his Breath of the Wild video, where he's able to be like, yeah, I know other people have feelings about this game that aren't mine. Like, I'll absolutely account for them and hold on to those hold on to those opinions, and I'll totally bring them up. And I'm not here to refute them. I'm here to acknowledge that the conversation has changed because of these opinions and these people and these particular elements. As opposed to like King K, when he doesn't like a game, he almost seems mad that you don't agree before you've even watched the video. Like he'll play a game and the implication is that he feels lied to. That someone that he played a game that everyone else likes.
Someone conned him to thinking the game was good.
Yeah, like there's this really weird like energy to him where he seems almost mad. It seems like he got trafficked to playing the game, even though he elected to play the game as part of a retrospective series.
Oh man,
like it's a really bizarre like content, like to just watch someone's like opinion be tried and dressed up as more than that. It's so weird. It's why like Neril is so smart. I don't agree with Neril 70% of the time, if I'm being honest with you. But he's smart enough to like be funny and to a degree that's not just disarming, but like helps you kind of feel like he's not an asshole and like not like super self-important. And also he's also so confident in his opinion that he doesn't give a shit if you agree or disagree. Like, he's just making these videos because of course he is. And
he makes the videos about what, and also too, like, he only really makes shit about stuff that's particularly interesting to him.
Yeah,
he's not making a video. He's not making a video to make it, or he's not making a fucking Tears of the Kingdom video to make a Tears of the Kingdom video. He's making a Tears of the Kingdom video because he fucking played it and he has stuff to say about it.
Yeah,
like,
and he's a Zelda fan, and he like, he's so interesting because he doesn't like. I mean, he's a lot like me in that he doesn't like a lot of the later Zelda games. Like he cites Ocarina of Time as like a perfect game, which you're not gonna hear me disagree with that. But he's also willing to be like, yeah, Wind Waker got chopped in fucking half, and Twilight Princess was too big, and Skyward Sword was gimmicky, and Breath of the Wild was empty. Like, and just his willingness to be like, yeah, I like this franchise, but it's fucked up. This franchise is fucked up, and like, that's a perfectly valid opinion to kind of like,
yeah, man, dude, take it from a Sonic fan. I understand that opinion. Hey, I like this franchise. Yeah, most of it's fucked up.
Yeah, and like, of course, I'm sorry you didn't like the most recent game. That's okay.
Hey, there's always next time. Man, as a Sonic fan, there's always next time.
Happens to everyone, man.
The difference is that we don't have to wait 6 years for our next game.
No, you don't even have to buy the next console for the next game. It'll be on PC. Yeah, I mean, Sonic is also just a funny series because, like, can we just stop pretending like Sonic's not good? Can we just stop? Like, there's so many good Sonic games. Just play the good ones. Like, just Yeah, no one does this for any other franchise. You know what I mean? Like, there's a shit ton of Resident Evil games that are god awful, and no one pretends like Resident Evil.
Nobody calls those out, and when discussing when the series is fucking bad. No, I mean, hey man, I mean, I'm totally down with all this pro Sonic support.
It's such a baffling thing. Like, and it's specifically because people internet dogpiled Sonic in particular because the fandom sucks. Like, it is a case of like people got really on that franchise's case for levels of quality that, I'm sorry, most franchises have.
Hold on, can I stop you right there? I'm actually going to defend the Sonic fandom. I don't think the Sonic fandom sucks. I think certain segments of the fucking Sonic fandom sucks in the way that certain segments of every other fucking franchise sucks. But sorry,
they are not able to...
Miles, stop! Name another fucking gaming franchise that has more high quality, fully completed fucking fan games that are at or sometimes exceed the level of the mainline fucking releases.
Well, let me
Give me
rephrase
one
that.
series.
I can't, and let me rephrase that though, because I don't think that the Sonic fandom sucks. I think that the Sonic fandom has subsects that suck so hard, they're entertainment. They're content to be made. Like, as opposed to, like, everyone's
definitely.
always like, people are always like, oh, the Zelda cycle. Everyone's, you know, like, no, you can't make a good video about the Zelda cycle. It's just not interesting enough, right? Whereas, like, the level of, like, Sonic insanity is amusing. Like,
There's a lot of Sonic insanity. There is a lot of Sonic insanity. You
can't make a good video about, like, the Pikmin Reddit. Even though the Pikmin Reddit's funny, that's one good video. Like, the desperation for a new Pikmin game makes the Pikmin
Meanwhile,
Reddit
there are
a curiosity.
dozens of high quality YouTube channels solely dedicated to Sonic.
Yes, and there's also high quality YouTube channels solely dedicated to mocking Sonic fandoms from the last 10 years, which those channels are dead. They're dead now. But
gone.
like that was
so long, Black Buster Critic. I'll see you in the Shadow Realm. Boom.
Was he the Sonic brain fart guy?
Brain fart. Yes, he was the Sonic brain fart guy.
Brain fart. Yeah, because
I introduced me in many Sonic legends like up till '89.
Yes, but and again, like the amount of people who are making like again, there's a ton of garbage like Mario content, like Mario doll videos, right? But like no one's making videos about the stupid meme kids who are making their videos with their Mario dolls. Even, oh, it's Sonic toys.
Actually, I did see a great Chazington video about Super Mario Logan, which was fucking awesome and really
Super Mario Logan's a very different thing because he was also massive. Whereas like you could be a Sonic, channel with like 5,000 subscribers and get made fun of and get called an actual mongoloid by a channel with 80,000 subscribers just because you happen to be Sonic adjacent. Like that's what I'm really trying to say is that the manufactured disdain for Sonic and everything around Sonic needs to stop. It's not real anymore, and it's not real. Like the same thing with like
real.
Like it's like what we were talking about with like Banjo-Kazooie, like with everyone talking about like, oh, Banjo-Kazooie is this like massive mainstream success. It's like, no, it's not. It is, but it's not. It is, but it's not.
Literally, only the people talking about it right now care about this shit right now. Like, and that's what's and that's the fucking thing about the whole games industry, though, Myles. Where it's like, this is once you accept the true video game industry black pill, where you realize that people who talk about games like we do online relatively seriously make up 1.5% of the industry's money.
Yeah.
like the total industry and how much money is spent and shifted around. Like,
I think a lot about like a lot of the demands that people have for franchises where it's like, you know why this is never going to happen? Because only you want this. Only you want this. Like I'm sure you and 15 other people want this, and you think that's a lot. It's not. It's not enough,
dude. It even extends to shit like the fucking like remember when fucking Blizzard got called out last year for being a bunch of sex pests?
Yes,
and everyone was railing on them for like fucking 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. And that didn't
go
fucking
anywhere.
Change shit, dude. Because guess what? We're only people who talk about games are only maybe like 1/20th of the actual buyers of these fucking core games are people who actually like talk about it online.
And here's the thing, like people are making a mistake in thinking like, oh, because we're talking about it, we're making demands, we care. No, the shareholders have a problem with it, and that's why any moves were made, because the shareholders heard about it. Like that's the issue. The amount of times in which a here's the way I'll put it. Okay, shareholders will hear about a problem and they will have an issue with something at a time when gamers will not hear about it. But if gamers hear about it, so too have the shareholders. It's like saying all deep web content, or all dark web content is the deep web, but not all deep web content is the dark web. Like,
Yeah.
does that make sense? Where like that sort of like yeah, okay, because everyone heard about it, that includes the shareholders.
Well,
versus
like a great example of this would be the Star Wars EA DICE Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy with the like insane loot box microtransaction monetization hellhole that game was in its first like 6 to 8 months. Like, there was so much like vitriol spewed about that game that it did actually get back to Disney corporate proper, who did like who was like, yeah, you gotta cut this shit out, you're hurting our fucking precious fucking brand right now, you know, like you're causing, you're fucking damaging our fucking nice family friendly reputation by being considered gambling right now. You need to cut this shit out. And that game is more or less gotten rid of most of those microtransaction bullshit, and that stuff's not really in the game at all now. Like,
yeah,
and it's kind of a totally different product, and it's like, so sometimes it will happen, but as you said, it's only when the real money makers or the real money holders get involved or have something to say, then shit actually changes.
Yeah, and that's like what I really want to emphasize, I guess, is just stop thinking your voice means anything ever. Like, don't overinflate your own importance. Okay, like, here's the thing: there are channels with 1 million subscribers that you've never heard of. 1 million subscribers.
I learn about them every day, bro. I learn about new million sub channels every day. 10 plus million channels every day I've never heard of.
Yeah, 1 million subscribers is a lot. Those people are not unimportant. They're not also important. I think that's a really great way to put it. Like, Red Letter Media is important. They're not that important. That like whenever people are talking about like, oh, Mr. Plinkett, you know, like his critiques of Star Wars, like, really, like, because J.J. Abrams saw it, like, his critiques of Star Wars probably had an effect on Star Wars. It's like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. There was 1 million way more relevant voices who were next to him in the room with him talking in his ear who affected fucking Star Wars more than
dude, you remember when the Matthew Matosis God of War case study came out and everyone was like, oh yeah, this is really gonna fucking show up. Dude, none of that fucking shit made it into Ragnarok.
That's what's funny too, is that like people were like, oh, they acknowledged the video. It's like, yeah, of course they acknowledged the video politely.
Yeah. I'm sure Corey Barlog did actually probably watch that video, and I'm sure he probably did have something nice to say about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a Matthew Matosis fan, because like he seems like he's at that level in the industry where he's at least heard of him. Like, he does seem like an online.
He's
guy.
hashtag online. Corey Barlog is a hashtag online.
Yeah, and he probably saw the video and he was like, hey, thanks for the critique. I appreciate you playing the game and being honest. But also, we're in the Metacritic Top 100 and we won Game of the Year. Or did they win? Yeah, they did win Game of the Year.
They did win Game of the Year that year.
And we won Game
RDR2, surprisingly enough.
Yes. Which, that game won all the technical awards, but
won everything but the one that matters.
Yeah, but then that happened to Ragnarok with Elden Ring, which is really funny. Where Ragnarok won all the technical awards except for Game of the Year, which went to Elden Ring. But like, yeah, it's definitely a case of like, sorry, 80 million people liked our game more than you, Matthew Matosis. So I don't give a shit. I appreciate the feedback. I liked the video. I'm sorry you didn't like it. Fuck off. Like, no one who watches...
Respectfully,
suck my asshole. Like, Nintendo is not... Like, whenever people are talking about, like, if we don't criticize, you know, Nintendo enough, they're never gonna improve. And it's like, they don't need you. They don't fucking need you, dude.
You want Nintendo to improve? Stop buying their shit.
Yeah. Like it's like, I'm sorry, the only way to do it. Making a video essay is not going to make sure that Zelda returns. People are like, yeah, I hope Zelda returns to some linearity. It's like, no, it won't. Because this game sold 500 million copies on day one and got reviewed very, very well. And, you know, dollars to donuts, the people at Nintendo were more dissatisfied with the product than you were. Like, there were probably people who internally were disappointed with the game that they released. And so they're the people who are going to be making those sweeping changes next time, because they already know they don't need you. You're not important. Shut up. like
so next time
I appreciate any critic who gets that and it's just like, yeah, I'll still make the fucking video. Fuck it, I'll still complain. This is my opinion. This is my free space on the internet. I'm gonna say what I want. But anyone who
there's just a level of just presenting your opinion as what it is, as just, you know, your opinion, and not like the conversation changer or anything when it comes to analysis or criticism. I agree with you. Yeah, like that's how you strike that balance. Is because I love fucking game criticism. Oh my god, are you kidding me? I fucking love this shit. I love fucking game criticism. I love learning about games. I love learning about the intricacies of games and what people have to say about them, especially if the videos are good and high quality. That's more of what I care about. But like, it's all about how you approach it. Like, it's really all about like the tact you take, like in your video or in your critique, and where you're coming from. And if you're coming from it from like a personal place and just speaking very like how you feel,
I'll never be mad at anyone who does that. Even if I vehemently disagree, I'll never be mad.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, my video review that got like fucking 305,000 views on YouTube was my fucking Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl review. Because the fucking title of the video is called Pokemon Has Reached a New Low. Because you know what, Myles? That's genuinely how I fucking felt playing that game. I'm like, wow, this sucks. Like, wow, not even the remakes are good anymore, huh? Like, you know, like...
there was a great meme that's like, Hoenn remakes confirmed, can't wait for Sinnoh remakes, and then it's like 2023, you know, this was like 2014 or whatever, and then 2023, it's like, maybe we don't need a Gen 5 remake.
No.
Just complete doomer, like, face. Because you know what? It's gonna suck. And you know it's gonna suck.
Myles.
And they're gonna announce it, and you're gonna be, like, hyped for 5 fucking seconds, and then the writing's gonna be on the wall, and it's gonna suck.
I will not be, Myles.
Well,
I will not be hyped for darker black and brighter white.
You will not be hyped, Sam.
No.
The same people who are gonna be massively disappointed in the game are gonna be hyped.
I actually want to start throwing hands when I see people be like, actually, yeah, Scarlet and Violet was actually pretty good. Like, I actually want to start fucking getting physical with people. I want to get in the fucking ring with people who are like, yeah, actually, this is acceptable. Like, yeah, the technical issues were really there, but yeah, this is an acceptable change Pokemon. It's like, you know nothing about the series. You know nothing about what makes it good. You're just someone who saw fucking a couple reviews be like, oh, Pokemon's the same thing every time, even though, spoilers, bitch, that's fucking almost every game franchise is the fucking same shit again.
Like, yeah, I really can't think of any franchise that is like the Nintendo level of like just constant innovation. It's not for most franchises. And even then, like, there's enough commonalities between most games.
Yeah, and even the constant innovation at Nintendo's already a little pushing it, because Mario still collects 120 fucking things.
Yeah, well, that degree of like every couple years the franchise is just gonna get torched and something. They're just gonna make something different. Like with Mario 64, you know, obviously I don't think that they had any reason to abandon 2D other than they were focused on 3D consoles at the time.
Yeah,
like. You know, or Metroid. All right, well, just release this Metroid Prime thing. It's just gonna be a first-person fucking take on Metroid. No one was ever gonna do that before or since.
But okay, so they make first-person Metroid, and then you know what they do? They make
another
Metroid Prime
2D
2,
Metroid,
and they make Metroid Prime fucking 3, and it's the fucking it's the same fucking shit. It's not a fucking problem.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't have said constant innovation like it's every time, but it's more than average. It's far more than average. Most franchises will change identities at most once, and only when it's fucking dire.
Yeah. Or it was a situation of it was just because I mean Ninja Gaiden has technically switched twice, because the original Ninja Gaiden's a beat 'em up in arcades, and then there's the NES trilogy, which we know, which are platformers, and then there's the hack and slash action games, from Team Ninja on Xbox, which are the 3D games.
It's an interesting kind of circumstance where like most franchises will only change if they're A, trend chasing, or B, dying. And even, you know, like Mario 64 changed because Shigeru Miyamoto just had a vision for a new console and for a new idea of Mario versus like Tears of the Kingdom.
And also they wouldn't be able to make 100, they wouldn't be able to make 80 different levels in 3D. They need to reuse the space. How do you reuse the space? Well, let's have the player collect 6 things in a level before they gotta leave.
they probably could have if Crash Bandicoot is any instance. They just didn't. And maybe the N64 architecture is so different that that's not the case. But like, it's like there's a difference between like Breath of the Wild from Skyward Sword, where like Skyward Sword's reception was like, oh, people don't like this. This is a problem. Versus sometimes just genuine like recognizing like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work the way we want. We can't just do a 2D Metroid game in a 3D engine, even though now you can. But otherwise, like most franchises don't change just because someone had a different idea for what the game should look like.
Exactly.
If it works, it works.
Except for, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog, who will change
whenever the fuck it wants.
He'll change every fucking game. He doesn't give a shit.
And that's what's so interesting. Again, that's another reason why I'm like, can we stop complaining about Sonic constantly? Like, there's been some fucking good-ass games and bad fucking games, because Sonic's constantly changing.
But you know what Sonic is, Myles? Sonic is a fucking progressive video game character. Like, Sonic is always trying to do something new. Or always trying to, the games are always trying to incorporate, new shit.
And by the way, not always
Sonic
trends.
Continue to be and feel relevant. It's not always trends. It's stuff that fits the fucking character.
Because people might be like, oh, Frontiers, the open world. It's like, I mean, yes, but like clearly they also had an idea for it.
Yeah. And also the best probably one of the best Sonic fan games is probably fucking Sonic Utopia, which is just 3D open world Green Hill that's huge as fuck and lets you just enjoy and move running around as Sonic. And that really was, and the best part about Frontiers is all about, the best part about Frontiers is just running around that fucking open world and just enjoying it and taking it in and appreciating the fun that is controlling Sonic. And I give Frontiers a lot of credit. Same thing with fucking Cyberpunk. Same thing with a bunch of games we've talked about, of games radically evolving since their launch. Dude, the second Sonic just had his birthday update like a week or two ago when y'all are listening to this for Frontiers. Bro, they added in a shit ton of collectibles to the open world. They've, no joke, doubled the playtime of the game to 100% if you want to get all this shit. They gave you a bunch of more reasons to actually stick around and explore and do the best part of the game.
Which I gotta be honest with you, I think I would prefer this degree of DLC as opposed to all right, yeah, when we're gonna release 2 DLC campaigns within the next 5 months. One of them adds 2 missions to the story, and then the other one adds a difficulty mode that we didn't think about.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, to be fair, Frontiers definitely also has that new difficulty mode that they definitely didn't fully think about, because I don't want to play one hit and you're dead Sonic. I don't care if the respawns are fast and there is no punishment for death. The game was not designed around you not taking any damage.
For me, I sincerely, especially the idea of with DLC, you can just radically add a bunch of new shit to the game a year later and just keep it alive for longer.
Dude, by the end of the year, Tails and Knuckles are gonna be playable characters. That's fucking crazy.
All I can think about is why don't more games have just and they can charge if the DLC is this high quality, they can charge for it. Why don't more games just actually support themselves? Because the way that I see it with Tears of the Kingdom, especially, it's we're not gonna get another Zelda game on the fucking Switch. It's not gonna happen. So why not just?
Give me new shit. Okay,
give me. Okay. I don't care if it takes a year for the next DLC to come out. Give me 10 more enemies and new Sky Islands. Fuck it.
And Iizuka, who's the kind of the creative lead behind Frontiers, he came out in an interview a couple months after, 2 or 3 months after the game came out, and they're we were definitely we're definitely working on a sequel to Frontiers, but this game was received really well by everyone, so we're gonna make some shit, and we're gonna add some shit, and we're gonna try to test stuff out in Frontiers with free DLC and stuff,
which is, by the way,
to eventually
that's
incorporate
a great
in the sequel.
Practice. Excellent practice.
Yeah, to incorporate in the sequel. So it's like, yeah, it's and to me, it's like, wait, you're telling me I don't have to wait till the next game to play as fucking Tails and Knuckles? I could just do it? Like, that's awesome. That's fucking great.
I would love it if more games and their DLC was just like, yeah, next year the game is just new. We just made another game in the same game.
Yeah. Dude, that's how I feel about fucking Cyberpunk when Phantom Liberty comes out. That is going to be a new fucking game that's worth, like, revisiting. And this is kind of how I feel, to bring it all back around to the fucking, like, game critique, analysis, discussion. Like, this is why, like, a lot of contemporary, like, game criticism I don't feel like is particularly useful. Because the reality is, knowing a game's vibe or whatever at launch is not super relevant, because for better or for worse in some instances, like if you look at a game like Overwatch, for example, like Overwatch reviews from 2016 do not represent what Overwatch is today, which is a game with a number after it now. Completely new 5v5 gameplay versus 6v6, completely different balancing and focuses and monetization methods. All that shit is radically different, and the Metacritic score of that game it just is not accurate to what is not accurate or reflective to what the actual game is now. And I just feel like, and that's where YouTube can really come in handy, is that people who like cover games and keep up on games, like they can revisit games, you know, like Bakuri Box is a Sonic YouTuber I'm like a super big fan of. He's made a bunch of awesome videos. Like, he made a video, like an hour-long video about Sonic Frontiers like 2 months after the game came out, and he just released a 25-minute video about Frontiers again, talking about the new stuff and how he felt about it, and it's like great. Like, I have, like, your updated opinion on the game. Updated person I trust opinion on game. Well, you know? And that's good. Patches can be good, you know? While I know, like, DLC patches and DLC, like, a lot of the industry is reliant. They have a bad lapping. And I understand it, because, like, a lot of developers, unfortunately, have used being able to patch your game as an excuse to release broken, unfinished fucking products for full price. And that's not cool, and that's not okay. And when that happens, you need to look at those fucking companies and make a decision on whether or not you want to continue spending money with them at that point. Or at the very least, consider maybe not buying the new, you know, if you felt like, if you were a PC player and you played Jedi Survivor at launch and you thought it was totally fucked and you like fucked beyond play and you just couldn't really enjoy the game in any meaningful way and you had to wait fucking 2 or 3 months, well, maybe just wait that 2 or 3 months the next time fucking EA releases or Respawn or whatever releases a Star Wars game, and let it be, and get it for $40. The game will be fixed. It might even have a couple of freebie DLC that you probably would have missed out on if you played the game at launch. And, like, do it. Just
stop buying games at launch.
Being a part of the conversation is never worth it with video games. It's never worth it. If that's your only reason to buy a new game is because you want to have an opinion on it right now with everyone else, just fucking wait like 3 months. It's still going to be in the year, like, and you're going to get it for $20 to $30 less.
And you know what? I think this is the other important thing. Who are you even talking to? Like, if it's like, oh, okay, me and my buddy, you know, me and my friend, we want to both have the same, you know, we're both going to get this game, we're going to talk about it together at work or I
agree with you,
whatever.
by the way. I agree with the point you're making.
Yeah, that's nice. If you're like, oh man, my Twitter followers need to know what my opinion is. No, they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I want you to do an experiment. Okay? I want you to log into your Twitter account. I want you to go to settings. I want you to hit deactivate account. And I want you to see how many people notice that you've left the platform before they reach out to you on any other social media, like Discord or Facebook or via text message or whatever. I want you to see how long it takes for anyone to notice you're not tweeting anymore. And I guarantee you that will demonstrate to you how little anyone matters on that website.
Can I spit a great example of this happening in real time from like last year, like late last year? Do you remember the Twitter account Nebellion? They would tweet like they would tweet gaming news stuff, and that was a good account to follow for someone who wanted to keep up with the industry, because a lot of gaming discourse online, specifically Twitter, would stem off of quote tweets from their news post or or description post of like games or announcements or whatever, because they were fucking there and they were ready. And Nebellion had like a 200,000 follower Twitter, and that's all they did. And they tried to launch like a Patreon or whatever, and they didn't make any money because nobody wants to pay for shit on Twitter. Because most people see Twitter as not something worth paying for. See Twitter Blue and all the, hate and posting around that when that became a thing a few months ago. And within like a week of not really making any money, he was like, all right, fuck this, I'm gone, I got better things to do. And it's like, on one hand, it was kind of low-key a bit sad you were gone, because you were a great feed to get uninterrupted sizable game news, but also Benji Sales and other people took up that mantle pretty quick, and people like Benji Sales, as an example, also make YouTube videos and other content, and actually breaks down sales analytics in a more deeper way alongside posting general news shit. And he offers way more than Nebellion did, and it's just goofy, and it's like, yeah, nobody gave a shit. And yeah, did Nebellion get nominated for like content creator of the year, which is kind of a fucking joke considering he just regurgitated press releases, but whatever, that's fine. We didn't win, it's okay. It's just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Twitter's not a fucking platform that means anything. Don't be on this shit. Don't be on this.
Don't play the game. Don't play the game. Don't feed the algorithm. Don't feed the troll. Don't feed anything. Don't feed yourself. Die. Fucking die. If you want to be a true crackhead,
if you want to be a true crackhead, you can starve yourselves on the streets of LA, consuming only crack cocaine. And then you will be a true crackhead, and also follow the podcast on Spotify.
If you want to be a true crackhead, smoke crack. If you would like to be a fan of Miku's Crackhouse, follow us on the Discord.
Yes, please follow us on the Discord. Say
and after
what's
shitting
up
on Twitter for so much, follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, follow us on the Twitter we never have used since we've come back.
And never will use, because neither of us want to log into the platform.
Dude, it still has our old logo, the season 1 Hatsune Miku logo as the image, as the PFP, as the kiddies say. But yeah. Man, that's it. This was a fun episode, Myles. You got any last words for the people before we kick it on out of here?
Yeah, please don't actually starve. We don't have enough views, and if one of our viewers dies, then that's like a significant hit to our views. Bye!